I lost my legs to save Shinichi. 3 years into our marriage, he allowed his friends and family to insult me. I questioned him, but he pressed his forehead impatiently. They are just telling the truth. Back then, I didn't beg you to save me. No one asked me if I was willing. All the love in my youth turned to ashes at that moment. That night, I mixed sleeping pills in his milk and cut off his legs while he was sleeping. I fell asleep while holding him screaming in pain. When I opened my eyes again, I was back to 3 years ago, before the accident. Brother Iji is awesome, he can keep a cripple for 3 years. Brother, you don't understand. Maybe Iji has some special fetishes, this cripple is in bed. If you ask me, Jianghe is too scheming. He tied Iji with one leg for life. There were bursts of laughter in the hotel room. I stood outside the door and clenched my fists, until the laughter stopped. Shin Iji's low voice came, that's enough. Someone pretended to be surprised. No way, you won't really fall in love with that cripple, right? After a long silence, I heard the words, how is it possible? I mean, I don't have any special fetishes. It's annoying to face a cripple every day. If it wasn't 3 years ago, sister-in-law. Why are you here? The door of the room opened, and everyone looked at me, joking, sympathizing, but not surprised. Shinichi was flustered and guilty for a moment. He strode towards me, his tone full of blame. Don't you know what's going on? What are you doing here? I sat in the wheelchair and looked into his eyes, silently raised my phone. You asked me to come an hour ago. Shinichi sent me a text message saying that he was drunk and asked me to pick him up. I was pushed into the private room by Shinichi, and he closed his eyes and sighed. Are you happy? The man who had just laughed at me smiled and raised his hand. Sorry, sister-in-law, we were just joking. Wanting to see how much you care about Iji, he said that they sent the text message with Shinichi's phone, just to prove that I love him very much. These people did not hide the contempt in their tone. I looked at Shinichi blankly, as if he had known it for a long time. I didn't know you would really come. He saw my thoughts and pressed his eyebrows helplessly. You too, think about it carefully. Even if I was drunk, who can't take me home? A designated driver or a friend? What can you do if you come? I followed his gaze and looked at my legs. What can I do? After receiving the text message, I probably pushed my wheelchair out in a hurry, and had to trouble the taxi driver to carry me into the car. Now thinking about it, I was really stupid. I rushed to be a joke in their eyes. Since it's okay, I'll go back first. I lowered my head and pushed my wheelchair away. I don't know who blocked my way. Sister Jianghe, don't be in a hurry to leave. It's not right to come here without a drink. Someone handed the wine to me, but I am allergic to alcohol. I looked at Shinichi again, and he still chose to remain silent, facing the eyes of the whole room watching the show. I silently took the glass of wine. It's worthy of Jiang, shit, he exclaimed because I splashed the wine on his face. What are you doing, you cripple?
Ah.
I turned on the electric mode of the wheelchair and ruthlessly crushed the foot blocking the road behind me. There were voices scolding me, but I turned a deaf ear to them and closed the door of the private room for them. Shinichi chased me and started to criticize me. Jianghe, don't go too far, they are all my friends. He reached out to pull me, but I stopped him. They are your friends, and I am still your wife. You know how to defend your friends, but you turn a blind eye to your wife being insulted. Shinichi pursed his lips, which was a subconscious expression of knowing that he was in the wrong but unwilling to admit it. I suddenly felt very boring and pushed my wheelchair towards the door. Until I reached the door, he chased me again. They are a little outspoken, but those are also facts. I don't like to listen to Shinichi's farts. I rubbed my wet eyes hard and tried to keep my voice calm. Let's get a divorce. Shinichi was stunned and blurted out the words of rejection. No, I can't divorce you. I looked at him puzzledly. Why? I heard it with my own ears. He clearly said that he didn't like me. I used to be able to deceive myself. Although his friends were not very willing to accept me, he loved me, and that was enough. I heard those words with my own ears today, and I realized how ridiculous I was. The wind was a little cold at night, and Shinichi took off his coat and covered my legs. It's my fault. Those words just now were drunk nonsense. Don't believe them anyway. We won't get a divorce, dear. The minty aroma of Shinichi wrapped me, and I finally couldn't hold back my tears. He pushed my wheelchair and walked on the busy street. I'll take you home. He pushed me slowly on the street at night. He must be thinking about something. So lost in thought that he didn't care about the pit in front of him, I reminded him, and after an apology, there was silence again. I opened my mouth slightly. I hope you know that if you feel troublesome, if you don't love me, we can get divorced. I have liked Shinichi for 10 years, but that doesn't mean I will pester him. Shinichi's voice was not very happy. I said we won't get divorced, childhe. I closed my eyes and stopped talking, and the memories of the past kept emerging. 3 years ago, when the ceiling of the laboratory fell off, I instinctively pushed Shinichi away. I saved him, but I was hit and lost consciousness. That day, I was going to confess to him, as an answer to my 7-year secret love. When I woke up from the coma, what caught my eyes was Shinichi's red eyes. Jianghe, are you going to die? Who told you to meddle in other people's business? I opened my mouth and found that my throat was very hoarse. I wanted to tell him that it didn't matter, because I liked him, and it was also to repay the Shin family's kindness. My parents died when I was very young. If it weren't for the help of the Shin family, I would have lived a miserable life. I wanted to get out of bed and pour myself a glass of water, but then I realized that my legs had lost feeling. Shinichi's eyes were filled with more guilt. He took my hand and said, I will be your legs in the future, Jianghe, let's get married. I admit that at that moment, I was overwhelmed by happiness. Okay, Shinichi, in fact, I have liked you for 7 years. Shinichi held my hand tightly without saying anything, and I subconsciously ignored the unwillingness in his eyes. When I woke up in the morning, Shinichi had left. There was milk he had heated for me on the bedside table. The company is very busy recently, so you don't have to wait for me to eat in the evening. I took a sip of the milk, which was sweet. But I never like sweet milk. There was a ping-pong sound outside the door, followed by a shout, sister-in-law, good morning. It was Shinichi's cousin. I sighed, thinking that this was really a big trouble. Shen Yuyan hugged me affectionately, but her eyes were full of sarcasm. Sister-in-law is really like that. Always causing trouble for my brother. There were several people my brother needed to win over at the drinking party yesterday. Your madness hurt him badly. You tell me what to do. Sister-in-law, I looked at Shen Yuyan calmly. You can let Shinichi divorce me. After the impulse of happiness faded, I could occasionally feel Shinichi's helplessness. He always kept a distance from me. His friends didn't treat me like that at the beginning. In fact, I understand that they just said what Shinichi couldn't say, so I said more than once that if it was because of the life-saving grace, it was unnecessary. We could divorce. But he never agreed. Shen Yuyan sneered. You don't think that my brother doesn't divorce you because he likes you, right? She dragged me to the wheelchair by force, and I struggled, but it was useless. What can a cripple resist? She chuckled in my ear. Come on, I'll take you to see a good show. The good show Shen Yuyan was talking about was Shinichi's intimate date with another girl. Through the glass window of the couple's restaurant, I saw Shinichi tidying up the hair on another girl's forehead. The love in his eyes was about to overflow. Shen Yuyan pursed her lips. Did you see it? That's the person my brother likes. I don't understand. Then why doesn't he divorce me? It's not me who is pestering, Shen Yuyan said indignantly. It's because you took the initiative to threaten my brother with the grace of saving his life. If he divorces you, what will he become? An ungrateful person? Why are you pretending to be magnanimous? Isn't this all calculated by you? I don't understand why everyone thinks that I saved Shinichi out of scheming. I only lost my legs, but he lost his freedom. The people in the room were too focused and didn't notice me not far from the window. I smiled, wheeled closer, and knocked gently on the glass window. Shen Yuyan didn't expect me to do this. Her face froze. What are you doing? It's so funny. She brought me here, but she only allowed me to feel sad after watching it. She didn't have time to stop me. And the two people in the room found us, stunned, panicked. Shinichi soon appeared in front of me. Jianghe, listen to me. He didn't know what to say, and looked at Shen Yuyan blamingly. Who asked you to bring her here? Shen Yuyan pouted unhappily. I feel sorry for my real sister-in-law. But you two have been in love for many years. I was stunned. In love for many years. But before I wanted to confess, I asked Shinichi indirectly if he had a girlfriend. His answer was no. Otherwise, I wouldn't have the courage. Jianghe, go home first. Shinichi scolded Shen Yuyan and then called a taxi for me. Wait a minute. I raised my hand to stop him. I want to talk to the lady inside. Jianghe, Shinichi frowned. He was unhappy. I gently pulled his hand. You'd better listen to me. Otherwise, I don't mind shouting in the street to catch the mistress. I am a disabled person. I have seen a lot of strange looks over the years. I am immune to it. You will only be embarrassed. Shinichi frowned deeper, but he should care about the people inside. The next second, he pushed me into the restaurant. Eiji, this is your wife, the one who saved you. The girl seemed to know me. She supported her head with one hand and smiled at me. Hello, my name is Lin Sui. Eiji's first love. She was like those people. She acted like she had no ill will towards me, but she was full of malice. Eiji, why don't you take your cousin to sit next to you? I want to talk to Miss Jiang. She took the initiative with just a few words. Shen Eiji sat not far away with Shen Yuyan, looking at us with worry. Miss Jiang, Lin Sui leisurely stirred the coffee in front of her. You know, if it wasn't for you, I should have been the one marrying Eiji. I don't know. I told her, I've never seen you in his circle, and I didn't even know he had a first love. Lin Sui raised her head, her eyes somewhat resentful. We are in an underground relationship. Because of my family, Eiji said his family would not agree. Only Yuyan silently supports us. We have been in an underground relationship for 2 years. Before the accident, we were ready to confront our families. Unfortunately, you intercepted it. No wonder Shen Yuyan hated me so much when she found out that I was going to marry Shen Eiji. But can I blame him for this? I confirmed with him more than once whether he had a girlfriend. It was he who chose to conceal it, and after the earthquake, he chose to marry me. Lin Sui saw what I was thinking and chuckled. Are you curious why he had to marry you? I looked up at her, and my intuition told me that this answer was not good. Because he found your secret love diary. Jianghe, Lin Sui said this with hatred in her tone. Why did he find out after you lost your legs and fell into a coma? He found out in front of the elders of the Shen family. You still say you didn't mean it. Miss Jiang, my mind went blank. It turned out that he had read my diary. Shenji originally wanted to pretend that he had never seen it, but Aunt Shin saw it first. The elders were kind. I grew up under their care, and the Shin and Jiang families were old friends for many years. So that day, Aunt Shin asked him, "Do you like Jianghe?" She thought that if both of them had feelings for each other, it would not be a bad thing to be together. Unexpectedly, Shenji thought it was pressure from the elders. "I will marry her." He gave up Lin Sui under the pressure he thought and married me. So that's it. I thought about how excited I was to reveal my heart after I learned that Shinji was going to marry me. It was a joke. He could divorce me now, but he didn't. This is what I don't understand. Lin Sui smiled sarcastically, because you are useful. Iji is at a critical stage of promotion. If others know that he abandoned his savior, what will others think? Miss Jiang, you have embarrassed him once. Don't let him embarrass him a second time. Okay, you are so scheming. Who knows if the death of both parents is retribution? I couldn't help it and splashed the coffee in front of her on her face. She can say anything, but she shouldn't mention my deceased parents. Jianghe, what are you doing? Shinji protected Lin Sui in front of him as quickly as possible. I pointed at her. She scolded my parents. Lin Sui was in a state of embarrassment, tears welling up in her eyes. I didn't. I was just explaining our past to her. It was her. Shinji looked at me angrily. Apologize. I stared at them for a long time and smiled. Okay, before I apologize, I want to talk to you. Okay, Shinji didn't say anything, which meant he agreed. Come closer. I'll only tell you about this. He walked over and bent down slightly. Pa. I slapped him with all my strength. Divorce. Shinji's face went completely black. Jianghe, I said, we can't divorce. It's true that we can't divorce. And you care so much about your reputation, but this time I don't want to let him do something wrong. Then you can wait for the lawsuit. I turned the wheelchair to leave, but was pulled away by a strong force. I was thrown to the ground. Shinji's eyes were red. A divorce? Look at you, a cripple. Who would want you if you leave me? I looked at him in disbelief, and couldn't believe that he said this. Am I born crippled? Shinji was annoyed. Yes. You are my great benefactor for saving me. Please, did I beg you to save me? Has anyone asked me if I am willing? I would rather be disabled myself. Do you know how much pressure this guilt brings me? Do you know how much I have lost for this favor? He complained bitterly about the pressure after he owed me half his life. I would rather you didn't save me. I looked at him blankly, and a faint smell of stench floated out. Under the huge humiliation, I became incontinent. Seeing this, Shinji quickly carried me back to the wheelchair. Look at yourself. What can you do without me now? He covered me with his coat with disgust. I'll take you home. Calm yourself down. Shinji called a car for me. The driver was a fat middle-aged woman. He had asked in advance, and gave the driver a little extra tip, asking her to push me back after we arrived at the station. Perhaps she saw that I was in a bad mood, and before leaving, she made a cheering gesture to me. Sister, there is still hope in life. She might be afraid that I would commit suicide. No, because just half an hour ago, I received a text message from a stranger. It was a screenshot of a chat. Brother Shin. Sister-in-law is determined to divorce you. It seems that you can't get the affectionate wife character of Mr. Gu, but it doesn't matter. If one way doesn't work, we can try another way. Do you remember Mr. Chi I told you about before? He loves to play disabled people the most. Jiang he just happens to be. Anyway, she is going to divorce you. You can take this opportunity to catch her handle and accuse her of cheating. This way you don't have to bear the stigma of abandoning your savior. Tomorrow night at 9 o'clock, don't blame me for not giving you a chance. That person said a lot, and the okay. In Shinji's reply made me completely desperate. How cruel, blaming me for saving him, putting pressure on him, and squeeze the last bit of my value to pave the way for him. I don't know who sent me this text message, but no matter who it is, I have to thank him. Xiaohe, I'm back. Shinji is back. Drunk, he staggered to me and squatted down. I'm sorry. I was a bastard during the day. Let's not divorce, okay? Huh? I looked at him calmly and smiled gently. Okay, really? I nodded and handed him a cup of hot milk. I was also wrong about what happened during the day. Drink this glass of milk to sober up. I booked a flight to Maldives tomorrow. Let's travel together. Okay. Shinji was panicked at first, then confused. Tomorrow. Let's talk about it tomorrow. Okay. I smiled and handed him the milk and watched him drink it. The effect of the drug came quickly, and Shinji fell to the ground unconscious as I expected. It is really troublesome to say that a person can't walk. It took me 2 hours to cut Shinji's legs. He woke up halfway through, and his crazy screams forced me to stop and stuff a towel in his mouth. He shook his head frantically. I quickly comforted him. It's okay. I won't kill you. I just want your 2 legs. You don't want them anyway. So why not give them back to me? He made a whimpering sound, probably begging for mercy. I pasted the chat record on his face, and he finally quieted down, with only pain and despair left. At dawn, I finally cut off the 2 legs, and the knife was blunt. Shenyi fainted and woke up several times. After I was done, I took the towel out of his mouth, and he was already breathing. Jiang, forget it. I stuffed it back in his mouth. I was too lazy to listen. I woke up too late. And my life was ruined the moment I lost my legs. Since he wanted to completely destroy me, I had to destroy him first. I lit coal in the room and fell asleep with him sobbing. It's good. I took away a beast with a human face and a beast heart from the world when I woke up. I didn't expect that I could still open my eyes. The numbness in my legs made me open my eyes wide. I was reborn, and I was reborn before the accident. I jumped up, and everyone else in the lab was shocked. Junior, are you okay? I stared at my legs and answered a few perfunctorily. I returned to my second year of graduate school. In order to be closer to Childhe, I chose the same major as him, and even tried to get into the same group with him, but the accident made me give up my studies again. Feeling the power from my feet, I was so excited that I trembled all over. It is now 13:27 on the afternoon of May 8th, and there are still 10 minutes before the ceiling loosens and falls off, in order to save Childhe. I pushed him aside desperately, but I was pressed under the ceiling. Childhe, what's wrong with you? A pair of big hands touched my forehead. It was Childhe. Do you have a fever? Do you need me to ask for leave for you? I subconsciously avoided his hand. There was a trace of hurt in his eyes. You. The strange behavior between us attracted the attention of others. Hey, did the young couple quarrel? I always chase Childhe on weekdays, but Childhe neither accepted nor refused. So that everyone jokingly called us young couple. No, he has a girlfriend. I have nothing to do with him. I hurriedly denied it. I felt unlucky to be associated with Childhe in this life. Seeing that I refused so quickly and mentioned his secret girlfriend, Childhe was slightly stunned. He lowered his voice. Childhe, is there any misunderstanding between us? I looked at him and suddenly figured out the strangeness between us. Childhe had a girlfriend at this moment. But he was still ambiguous with me. Even if I pointed it out now, he was unwilling to admit it. Is this because I want to have an exciting relationship but I don't want to give up my kindness to him? It turns out that the person I liked was rotten from the beginning. Be careful. A cry interrupted my thoughts. The ceiling began to fall off just like in the last life, and Childhe happened to be standing in the center of the ceiling, and I was just on the edge of the falling ceiling. In the last life, I pushed Childhe away regardless of myself. In this life, I quickly ran away from the dangerous place. Childhe. Childhe called me incredulously. The next second, the ceiling fell down, and Childhe fainted after a cry. Out of morality, I still called 120 for Childhe. The doctor said that Childhe's legs were useless and he could only spend his life in a wheelchair. I forced myself not to laugh out loud. Childhe, why didn't you save me? Childhe woke up, his voice hoarse and crying. As if I was a heartless person, you could have pushed me away. I tilted my head. Childhe, stop pretending. I know you're back too. Before we got married, Childhe never called me childhe. And just now he asked me why I didn't save him. Childhe blushed after being exposed. He wanted to take the initiative from the moral high ground and make me feel guilty. I sat down next to him and patted his legs gently. Childhe, your legs are broken. Do you remember what you said to me in your last life? I begged you to save me. Has anyone asked me if I was willing? I would rather be the one who is disabled. I smiled at him. Aren't you unwilling? Congratulations on getting what you want now. You don't have to feel guilty because of me. You just lost your legs now. But you were open and honest. You don't have to force yourself to bear unnecessary responsibilities. Childhe was stunned there. His face was as colorful as an overturned palette. Childhe, why didn't I see that you were a psychopath before? Can't you tell what is angry talk? His face overlapped with the way he said shamelessly in his last life that he didn't need my rescue. If I saved him, he would blame me, and if I didn't save him, he would still blame me. I was so angry that I slapped him. You know I'm a psychopath, but you still dare to contradict me. Do you want to be chopped off again? After hearing what I said, Childhe suddenly shuddered. So many things happened one after another that he almost forgot how he died tragically in his previous life. I lost my mind. I hate women like you anyway. It's better not to force me to be bound in this life. He was trying to save face for himself. 10 minutes later, Aunt Shin came in a dusty state. Iji, Uncle Shin was out of town discussing business and couldn't come back. It was a pity that she, a mother, had to bear this bad news alone. Aunt, don't be too sad. At least she's still alive. It's good to be alive. I comforted Aunt Shin symbolically. She wasn't bad to me in her previous life. But she wasn't very good either. Before marrying Childhe, she really treated me as her daughter. After marriage, she also felt really sorry for me, but this kind of pain couldn't resist the passage of time and the size of her own son. So, when Childhe's cousin bullied me, she chose to turn a blind eye. Childhe, you should be careful. Childhe was a little anxious. He didn't want Aunt Shin to worry, but now he couldn't even turn over. Childhe, his father and I are busy. Thank you for taking care of Iji. Aunt Shin cried and pulled my hand. I know you are interested in Iji and the current situation. She burst into tears again. I understand what she means. She is worried that Iji will not be wanted, just like she was worried about me back then. I said without hesitation, Aunt, I only think of Iji as my brother. What's more, Iji has a girlfriend. Aunt Shin looked at Iji in disbelief. Is what Childhe said true? Shen Yiji pursed his lips tightly. He didn't want to show his cards so quickly, but now I was forcing him to do it. I added considerately, I have just informed her that I am here. I don't want to be the third party that breaks up others. I hope you understand. As soon as the voice fell, Lin Suisui, dressed in white, appeared in front of the door. Her reaction was similar to Aunt Shin's, shocked and crying. Aunt Shin had seen Lin Suisui, and she didn't like this girl very much, because she had 2 older sisters and a younger brother, and such a family was not worthy of her son. But the current situation, Aunt Shin couldn't say much, so she could only leave on the pretext of buying food. Yiji, the little white flower with red eyes, was particularly lovable. But Shin Yiji avoided her sight. Jianghe, you shouldn't have asked her to come. How can I? He couldn't continue, and a light yellow liquid spread on the bed sheet. Lin Suisui subconsciously took 2 steps back, with a hint of disgust in her eyes. This scene was captured by Shin Yiji, and his self-esteem was hit. Jianghe, he looked at me with a pleading look. I was unmoved. What? You don't expect me to do this, do you? Your girlfriend is here. Is this appropriate? After scolding Shin Yiji, I turned to Lin Suisui and said, Ms. Lin, I have heard a little about your love story. If you love each other like that, you must be together for a lifetime. In this case, you should learn to take care of disabled people now. Under my urging and moral kidnapping, Lin Suisui helped Shin Yiji up with great effort. The door of the toilet was shut heavily, and I did not miss Lin Suisui's resentful expression. I laughed. It was me who suffered the misfortune at the beginning, and they could immerse themselves in the noble love that they wanted but could not get. Living in different places, under the pressure of life, can they still be so firm? After a few simple words with Aunt Shin, I left. Shin Yiji has a mother and a girlfriend, so naturally he doesn't need me, an idle person, to get in the way. I live and go to class as usual, and I can walk and run freely. The long-lost sense of freedom makes me obsessed. I heard that Shin Yiji didn't give up and was doing rehabilitation training every day, but unfortunately there was no improvement. Aunt Shin contacted me every now and then, and her words were dissatisfied with Lin Suisui. It was nothing more than that she didn't know how to take care of Shin Yiji and was not as careful as me. Shin Yiji also wanted to find me, but unfortunately I blocked all his contact information. It was not until 3 months later that I had dinner with my fellow brothers in the same group and ran into Shin Yiji and his friends. Lin Suisui pushed Shin Yiji towards me, and both of them looked unhappy. Lin Suisui was busy scolding Shin Yiji and didn't notice my presence. What are you doing here as a disabled person? Is it embarrassing? This disgusted tone was in sharp contrast to Xiaoyi's gentle appearance before. It's no wonder that Lin Suisui got angry. I secretly investigated that Shin Yiji's so-called romantic love was just Lin Suisui's long-planned plan. Lin Suisui's original family was not good. She hoped to find a man with a rich family and a low IQ to help her change her fate. Shin Yiji showed up at the right time, but unfortunately I intercepted him in the last life. As for this life, the despised Shin Yiji blushed. If I didn't come, how would I know what you and your friends said about me? Lin Suisui sneered. They said you were a cripple, a man who was no longer able to do anything. Are they wrong? Look at yourself. You need me to help you go to the toilet. What else can you do? If it wasn't to get out of that family, who would want to be with a cripple like you? Shin Yiji trembled all over. You, what did you say? Lin Suisui ignored his murderous gaze. If I had known that taking care of a cripple was so troublesome, I should have changed my target. Shin Yiji roared. Divorce. Before the wedding, it turned out that they had already obtained the marriage certificate. It seemed that Aunt Shin also knew about her son's situation and did not allow him to be picky. Lin Suisui punched him twice without any hesitation. Divorce? Do you think I don't want it? I've been serving you for 3 months and I'm almost sick of it. If it weren't for your damn mother, do you think I would be willing to marry you? Little White Flower took off her mask and looked like a cannibal, but such a person is a perfect match for Shin Yiji. I couldn't help laughing out loud, and the two finally found me. Seeing me coming, Lin Suisui hurriedly got rid of Shin Yiji. The hot potato, you came just in time. Take your brother away. When Shin Yiji and Lin Suisui were in a secret relationship, he always claimed to Lin Suisui that I was his sister. Lin Suisui glanced at Shin Yiji coldly. I'm going back to the party. Don't cause me any more trouble. Lin Suisui left without looking back, leaving Shin Yiji and I staring at each other. What he is experiencing now is exactly the same as what I experienced back then. Shin Yiji, do you remember what your friend said about me? Shin Yiji turned his head away, his body trembling slightly. Sorry, I didn't know. I interrupted him. You know everything, but it didn't happen to you, so you don't care. Okay, don't be upset. If you ask me, Lin Suisui is pretty good to you. She just scolded you a few words, but she didn't give you to an old man with special fetishes, right? I was kind enough to comfort him, but I didn't expect his face to get paler and paler. No, childhe, listen to my explanation. I didn't really want to hurt you. I have arranged it all. The room was lit with incense in advance. He will faint before he does anything to you. The next day, just pretend, he explained excitedly until he saw my cold eyes. Actually, I had already fallen in love with you a little bit at that time. Pa, I slapped him with all my strength. I felt that one slap was not enough, so I slapped him several times in a row. Jianghe, Sheniji was shocked and angry, but now he couldn't fight back at all. I suppressed my anger. How dare you mention love? You gave me to other men. It's love. You let my friends insult me. It's love. You two timing is love. You don't love me. You found out that you are disabled and Bai Yueguang no longer loves you. All you want is someone who loves you wholeheartedly. Does a selfish person like you deserve love? Since that day, Sheniji never came to see me again. My life became more and more willful, and occasionally someone mentioned Sheniji to me, saying how bad he was. I heard that Lin Suisui treated Sheniji well in front of Aunt Shin, but beat and scolded Sheniji behind his back. I don't know what's wrong with Sheniji. He didn't say a word when he was bullied like this. I guess he really loves Lin Suisui. Shen Yuyan called me several times, and she treated me as a close sister in her words, that Lin Suisui. I used to think she was kind and weak, but I didn't expect her to be so dark. Sister Jianghe, it would be great if you were the one marrying my cousin. I smiled. Don't talk nonsense. Shin Yitzi and I are brother and sister. Shen Yuyan pouted on the other end of the phone. We are not siblings. Auntie just raised you for a few years, and didn't even register you. Sister Jianghe, why don't you go and grab the marriage? It will be on the 10th day of next month. My eyelids twitched when I heard her say that. I suddenly remembered that before Shin Yitzi and I got married, Shen Yuyan didn't have such a big malice towards me. After Shin Yitzi and I got married, she suddenly seemed to have changed into a different person, and she got closer and closer to Lin Suisui. Now it is Lin Suisui who is marrying Sheniji. Could it be? I asked casually. Yuyan, you won't like. Before I finished speaking, the person on the other end of the phone denied it again and again. How is it possible? How could I like my cousin? After a long silence, Shen Yuyan stammered. Well, it's true, but he is my cousin. It's definitely impossible for us. So I want to find a good sister-in-law for my cousin. Sister Jianghe, do you really not consider my brother? I smiled perfunctorily and saved the recording with my backhand. I will go, Shen Yuyan cheered excitedly. A month later, I appeared at the wedding. When I arrived at the wedding, Sheniji was being pushed out by Lin Suisui to receive the guests. Sheniji probably felt embarrassed and gritted his teeth. Do you have to let me come with you? Lin Suisui slapped him on the back of his head. If you keep talking nonsense, I will tear your mouth apart. I didn't expect their relationship to deteriorate to this extent. If they could still get married, it was all thanks to Aunt Shin's deliberate attempt to torture Lin Suisui. When Sheniji was healthy, she would never let Lin Suisui go, but now Sheniji is disabled, and the family with the same status is naturally unwilling to marry their daughter to him. Aunt Shin originally wanted me to be her daughter-in-law, but a few months ago, Sheniji was determined to be with Lin Suisui, and she didn't have the face to ask me to take over Sheniji. Doesn't Lin Suisui's family love money? Aunt Shin simply gave them 300,000 yuan at a time to buy Lin Suisui. After the family took the money, they happily handed over Lin Suisui's household registration book. Lin Suisui was willing to take care of Sheniji perfunctorily for money at first. After being deceived into marriage, I found out that I was bought out by the Shin family, and Aunt Shin would not give me a penny more. Divorce. Don't even think about it. Isn't it a shocking love? Then lock it. Sheniji saw me. He looked at me from a distance. His eyes fell on my legs, revealing yearning. Aunt Shin never showed up. She was clearly slapping Lin Suisui in the face, but I don't understand. Has the Shin family also given up on Sheniji? Shen Yuyan, who was sitting at the relatives' table, saw me and quietly made an okay gesture to me. This was her plan, to reveal all the details of my years with Sheniji during the wedding. According to her, Sheniji has feelings for me, and he will definitely regret it, and even regret it in public. This will not only ruin the wedding, but also slap Lin Suisui in the face to the greatest extent. However, she deliberately didn't mention this, which would put me in an embarrassing situation. Her abacus was too loud, so I had to quietly move it a few more times. Hey, isn't this Sheniji's little follower? A familiar voice. I looked back and saw that it was his brother who had embarrassed me next to Sheniji. TSK, you look obsessed with the cripple. You don't have any special fetish, do you? His words were frivolous, disrespecting neither me nor Sheniji. Zhou Hao, get out if you don't want to eat this meal. Sheniji appeared beside me at some point, and he angrily scolded his former brother. Zhou Hao looked at us with contempt. You still think you are a big shot? Look at you crippled. Pity you. I tell you, your father has taken your 12-year-old brother home. I was surprised that the Shin family actually had an illegitimate child. It seems that Sheniji has been abandoned by Uncle Shin, and as for Aunt Shin, forget it. Zhou Hao, get out. Sheniji was already on the verge of a rage, but it was a pity that he couldn't get up and beat him. Zhou Hao was ordered to leave by Sheniji, but he sat down carelessly. Get lost. Sheniji, what are you doing? Lin Suisui chased after him and kicked Sheniji's crippled leg in anger. Do you think I'm not embarrassed enough today? Lin Suisui beat and scolded Sheniji again. Forget it, sister-in-law. Give Mr. Shin some face outside. Zhou Hao laughed. What's more, the old lover is here, he said, turning his eyes to me. I didn't want to make trouble now, but Zhou Hao was too mean in his previous life and this life. I picked up the red wine on the table and poured it directly on him, warning him in his shocked eyes. How you insult Sheniji is your business, but keep your mouth shut to me, otherwise, I don't mind telling the Shin family about what you did in secret. For example, that Mr. Lin likes. In his previous life, Childhe loved to introduce all kinds of girls to those bosses with perverted hobbies. That Mr. Lin was the favor he found for Childhe. When Childhe heard me mention Mr. Lin, he instantly became as quiet as a quail. Childhe, Childhe called me with sobs. I'm sorry. I really didn't know that life after disability would be so. The big screen suddenly played, interrupting Childhe's confession. I saw Shin Yuyan stood up excitedly. Sister Jianghe, why don't you go and grab the wedding? It will be on the 10th day of next month. Yuyan, you won't like it. How is it possible? How can I like my cousin? Well, it's true, but he is my cousin. It's definitely impossible for us. So I want to find a good sister-in-law for my cousin. There was no playback on the screen. But the conversation between Shin Yuyan and I was clearly heard by everyone. This wedding, which was already chaotic, became even more chaotic. Shin Yuyan screamed and asked to turn off the playback, and Lin Suisui strode forward and grabbed her and beat her. She cursed and several people couldn't stop her. I was amazed. That's right. How could a girl who grew up in a rural family that favors boys over girls be a weak little white flower? Thinking of the time when she talked to me in the restaurant. The peaceful and carefree look, I just felt ironic. I took advantage of the chaos and quietly left the scene, with Shin Yuyan calling behind me. I heard about what happened later from other people. After Shin Yuyan's shameful thoughts were exposed, her parents had a big fight with her brother. They thought that Shin Yuyan must have done something beyond the line to cause Shin Yuyan to fall in love with the wrong thing. Uncle Shin, who was originally disappointed with Shin Yuyan, gave up Shin Yuyan completely. Even Aunt Shin had no choice but to give up her son. Fortunately, the illegitimate child's mother died early, so it was not too late to treat him as her own son and cultivate feelings. I didn't know you would really come. She wanted to divorce. But the Shin family didn't intend to let her go. The Shin family believed that they had ruined a son because of this woman. If she hadn't bewitched Shin Yuyan and I should have been a couple. With my feelings for Shin Yuyan, how could I not save Shin Yuyan in that accident? By then, it was me who broke my leg, and at worst, I could let Shin Yuyan marry me. The Shin family was naturally happy with this kind of good thing to gain reputation. They calculated well. And my last bit of sympathy for the Shin family disappeared. Half a year later, Shin Yuyan committed suicide. Before he died, he took Lin Suisui with him. I heard that Lin Suisui got in touch with Childhe and secretly introduced Shin Yuyan to the old man with special fetishes. After that, Shin Yuyan went completely crazy after waking up. He cried and said that he knew he was wrong and that he was bewitched at the beginning, and cursed Lin Suisui for a bad death. Finally, he said in a delirious state that if he were to change the time again, he would definitely choose Jianghe firmly. He hired someone to sneak into his home and quietly replace the health supplements that Lin Suisui often took with sleeping pills. While Lin Suisui was sleeping, he set a fire in the house and burned himself with it. After Shin Yuyan's death, I received a letter. It was sent by Shin Yuyan. I guess it was nothing more than some meaningless confession. I didn't even open the envelope and threw it directly into the trash can. Do it again. Impossible. God will not give the wicked another chance. Even if he does, no matter how many times it happens, I will not waver for him again. I have a clear goal in life, and I will only become a better me.